welcome to tonight's beer review. Well, this late afternoon beer review. I've just finished sort of cleaning up my chicken's coop, fed them dinner, went and brushed and did yard work, and I'm going to dub this mandatory overtime beer review because I have mandatory overtime, which means I have to come in on my freaking day off to go and attend a human resources mandatory training. And I'm a little bit irritated by that because every other human resources mandatory training I've been, they basically take us to a room, sit us down, and they hit play on a computer or play on a PowerPoint. You know, it always ends up being something where they don't need to go and schedule all of us to be there at a certain time. You know, it could be something that's either broken up into multiple things or handed over to like the bosses to go and get done and signed off. You know, rather than having people come in on their days off, having people stay late, having people come in early, etc., etc. You know, especially for especially since 90% of these trainings are completely superfluous. But I work for the government, so what are we reviewing today? Well, we're reviewing another local beer. This is one that I don't know much about. This is Ola Brew, and this is their IPA, Na Hawaii, No Hawaii, which means from Hawaii of Hawaii, from to Hawaii of Hawaii. It could be translated multiple ways, but it's sort of by Hawaii for Hawaii. Got that kind of sort of feel to it, though that's not really the direct translation, but that's sort of the feel. By Hawaii for Hawaii. Employee and community owned Aina wine for land. It's inspired and crafted with pride. So this is sort of a brew cooperative. This is over on Kailua Kona, west side of Hawaii, and it's kind of interesting how the Big Island has sort of taken the lead for, you know, brewing beer in the state of Hawaii, in that the largest brewery, the one that's pretty much gone macro, Kona Brewing, is headquartered there, and several of, you know, the several microbreweries, including one that is truly excellent, you know, an award-winning one, and they're all on the same island, and they're often in very small towns. Like the one, my favorite, Big Island Brew House, is basically up in a little cow town in the middle of nowhere. You know, you just go to this little strip mall, and that, you know, looks like a cheesy, like, Mexican restaurant, and what do you know, it has an excellent brewery kind of attached to it. But I'm kind of digressing. So this place has been around less than a year. They have quite a roster of beers that they brew. They only can and distribute one of them, but that's still pretty good for a place that's only been around for about a year or so. I'd like to visit them, like I'd like to visit all the breweries on this day. I haven't even visited the one on this island because, well, I'm poor and I'm a busy guy, and I don't have anyone to drive me. I don't drink and drive, so I have no one. I don't know how I'm going to get to a brewery safely and back. I don't know how I'm going to get home from a brewery safely without anyone to drive me. So, yeah, my life is solitary. Again, I'm digressing. 6.3 ABV, 55 IBUs. Let's get to the beers. I've already ranted for 4 minutes straight. It's kind of a record for me, ain't it? So, kind of foamy on the open. So not as much so as Hawaii Nui Mehana brews. So kind of on the carbonated side, and that generates quite a bit of head and high carbonation. Fairly clean, golden to amber, clear, heavily carbonated, thick, fluffy, slightly off-white head, white to off-white. We got citrus, rind, hints of pine needle, hints of fruit juice. It doesn't really, it's kind of interestingly in between, you know, sort of resiny and citrusy. It doesn't really go all the way into that sort of juicy sort of nose, and it doesn't also go to that sort of piney, rindy sort of nose. It's sort of in between there. Hints of mint. Interesting how the tropical fruit and resin notes kind of interplay with each other there. And let's go to the tasting now. Fairly hop forward. Bitterness is kind of front loaded. Very resinous. Very piney. But not very lasting. It actually goes and really recedes from the mids and is sort of just sort of a kind of ghost on the palate in the finish. Pretty light mouthfeel for a 6.3 IPA. Slightly on the dry side, only ever much so, especially in the front since all the hops are kind of front loaded there. Hop forward. Just a slight hint of juiciness in the mids to finish. And like I said, just a sort of remnant resiny bitterness on the finish there. Drinks quite well. Not overly complex on the palate, though somewhat of a nice nose. Just a pretty decent IPA. Nothing to really write home about. Kind of wish that it was a little bit more cleaner on the open. I kind of have a thing against the ones that are going to create a big head when you open them. But that's just kind of a minor point, because it doesn't seem to have any other flaws on the open. Like I said, no one's going to be blown away by this IPA. And at the same time, no one's going to be kind of turned off by it. Just another drinkable beer from Hawaii. Some of the ones that they have at their brewery sound really interesting. I'd love to go and give their coffee cream stout a try. So it's coffee cream ale a try. It's basically a cream ale with coffee added. And as you know, cream ale is one of my favorite styles because it's a very sessionable light style, and we kind of want to see what they do with the coffee in that. So yeah, they do have some really interesting sounding beers on tap, but they made the wise decision to not really go out there for their first widely distributed beer and kind of just stay on the safe side. So folks, Ola Brew IPA, a brew cooperative on the west side of the Big Island. Give them a try if you see the cans. And definitely give it a visit if you're going around visiting breweries on the Big Island, which is definitely a thing to do if you're on the Big Island. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.